Nithyananda. Today I wanted to talk just a little bit about what books have influenced my spiritual journey. This is, for me, a really fun topic because I'm a total nerd and I absolutely love reading and researching and things like that. And I know for many seekers out there that the journey often starts with books, in finding new information, new perspective, new ways to see things. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the few books that have majorly influenced me in my spiritual journey. And the first book I really experienced that awakened that seeking in me that I wanted to share with you guys is called Fingerprints of the Gods by Graham Hancock. Evidence of Earth's Lost Civilization. And see, this isn't really a spiritual book per se, but it's kind of this alternative theory on history and how humanity has existed a lot longer than we have been learning in our history books, and evidence to back that up. And so seeing the world through even this new lens of history really triggered that questioning in me of, for the first time in my life, all these systems that were in place that I had been put into in the world, I was questioning, and I had really never done that before, honestly. And so I started to really look at my education, government, different aspects of society in this new way, not necessarily in this controversial way, but just questioning and making sure that I was looking at everything and actually asking about it, not just accepting the information I was given. So that was kind of the beginning of everything, honestly, because that questioning, that deep questioning seated in you is the beginning of your spiritual journey. So if any of you guys are experiencing this, it's not only a very exciting time, but it really means that your consciousness is waking up. So the next book I want to talk about that kind of was the next transition, it's called Conversations with God. And this book is just it's channeled by this man who says that basically God started talking through him and he was asking him questions back and forth, literally like having a conversation with him. And whether you believe that or not, it's a fascinating book, and it really opened my perspective on just broad spirituality and God, the concept of God in general. I have to say, to date, still one of my favorite books, so I'd highly recommend anyone who's interested in really feeling like they're getting closer to what God or consciousness is to read that book. The next book that started getting me into Eastern religion was called Being Peace by Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk. And this was kind of my first taste of Buddhism, which was actually where I started off before I ended up being Hindu. And I just absolutely marveled in the fact that he was explaining about how we are integrated in the world and that every action we take does matter and make a huge difference on the planet, the animals, and people around us. And it was just such beautifully written words that he speaks and gives you all these small ways that you can help make an impact in your everyday life, and beautiful mantras to live by every day, appreciating the world around you, saying thank you for life, all these amazing concepts. And so I'm still very grateful for that book on my spiritual path. And it's a very quick read, so if you're interested in spirituality and especially in context of the environment, I would definitely recommend that. And so from that transition, finally I ended up getting even deeper into these spiritual concepts, which took me actually towards Hinduism. And I really had no context of what Hinduism was at all, because I feel like most of us in the West aren't taught anything about it. Ironically enough, we do hear about Buddhism, it's kind of become a popular thing nowadays, but Hinduism is never touched upon. And so learning about it really was astounding to me. And the first book that really did that for me was Autobiography of a Yogi. And I'm sure most of you have heard about this if you've begun your spiritual journey. If not, it's basically the life story of Paramahamsa Yogananda, a very famous guru. He has an ashram in San Diego, all over the world. He's pretty well followed. And his life story is just incredible. Basically, it's his account of his mystical experiences and just the authenticity of his storytelling, and hearing his life and how it developed, and how he became an enlightened master, and he had his guru, and all the stories that were passed along to him, and his crazy spiritual experiences that are absolutely unbelievable, was just such an enlightening book for me, about seeing all these mystical things and for the first time realizing that they might be real. And I would say the last culmination, which led me to get even closer to my guru, Paramahamsa Nithyananda, Swamiji, is his own book called Living Enlightenment. And it's just an incredible, almost like guide to life, I would say. In a way, I feel like you can just open to any page when you need an answer for something. So it's kind of one of those books. You don't necessarily have to read it in chronological order, but it's like it has an answer for everything. So I remember when I was a little girl and I was still only had followed Christian practices, I used to do this with the Bible, where if I was like so troubled about something, I would just open the Bible and the words that spoke to me, I was like, wow, that's totally my answer. This is taking that to a whole nother level. So every time I open it, I am just in such amazement of the answers that I find in it, and they're just from such a high spiritual context and such incredible new enlightening concepts that open your mind, meditation techniques, specific techniques to even heal if you're dealing with anxiety, depression, if you want to work on things with finding a soulmate, any topic you can think of, death, life, anything. So in culmination, these are just a few of the books that have been benchmarks in my spiritual journey, and please let me know what you think. If you have read these books, let me know how you felt about them, what you learned from them, and just share with me what books have really impacted you on your journey. And if you have any questions about these books or any more information you want out of me or anything, let me know. So just comment, and I'm here for you guys to answer all your questions. So thank you for listening, and I hope to see you guys soon. Nithyananda.